What's going on, Buff Nation? Welcome back to another video. We had a lot to go over today. Coach Prime's interview was asked a few things about recruiting, about his shoes, who's going to be able to use them. Thought it was very interesting. He responds to the haters. The Colorado State head coach throws another jab, per usual. Do we expect anything less? And then it looks like it could be a monster day for the Buffs. We're going to read the tea leaves, break it all down here for you guys today. Be sure to smash the like button, subscribe before we do any of that. Roll it. I flushed my juice down in the club. Woo! Good evening, good afternoon, good to see you here. It has been a fantastic Big 12 Media Day this week. A lot of cool stuff. The Big 12 really seems to be separating themselves from that second tier of the pack, really, right? Separating themselves from the ACC. I kind of was going into this year thinking, look, the Big 12's got an opportunity here to really just take off and solidify themselves almost for them to be a Big 3. Big 10, SEC, and the Big 12. The ACC is in shambles. Everybody wants to leave the ACC. Obviously, the Pac-12 down to the Pac-2. A lot of interesting stuff. The Buffs obviously being part of the Big 12 now. Very exciting news. But there were some great interviews today. Obviously, the big interview from Media Day. But there was an interview today with On3. And when asked about, hey, who gets to wear the shoes, here's was Coach Prime's response. But I got my thoughts and opinions about this. I love his response. But I think I'm looking at it, I think, a little bit differently than most people will. But let's take a listen to what he had to say.
How have you used the success of the Air DT Max 96? I wear a size 12 and I got all the shoes.
You know what,
I couldn't get this one, Coach.
That's a good question. I don't think we use it as a recruiting tool. This year we will. You know why? Because the guys that ball gonna get them. I'm not putting everybody out there. I'm just letting you know now. Tom, Dick, Harry, and Larry, you ain't getting them shoes.
Right.
Show me what you got,
right,
and that I can count on you. I got you.
Right.
We got a whole locker room full of them. I got you though.
Man.
But if you don't ball, I can't do that.
Right.
I can't. I can't do that. So the kids, they're getting the black white. They're getting the white black. They're getting the white gold. They're getting. I think my boys are getting the black with the gold. Now, those are fine.
Coach,
you got to see those. Those are fine.
Coach,
they may wear those game one.
Coach, what the media getting?
So look, here's what I love about it. I know people are going to take this and spin this some kind of way of like, of course the Suns get the best ones and what have you not. I'm going to ignore all that. Let's talk about first thing order of business. How is he going to utilize this for recruiting? Obviously, it's limited to who can get these shoes. So it's an exclusive. It's just like kind of being part of like a Jordan school or an Adidas school. It's just me, in a sense, like Coach Prime extended school, the ability to put these shoes on. But secondly, what I love about it more is for the current players, like he talked about. You know, just Tom, Jerry, and Larry ain't going to be wearing these shoes. You got to be a dog to put these shoes on. And so what that reminded me of was this. The Ohio States, Florida State, Clemson's, Michigan's, they put stickers on their helmets to the guys that have successful, practices, games, big hits, monumental moments. They get to put stickers on their helmets to basically let you know when they're on the football field, I am a dog. Okay? Because my helmet's loaded up. I love it. I think it's one of the best traditions in college football. I wish all schools would do this. Again, just something else kind of separate themselves from the NFL, giving you that joy and that love of the game. Again, when you see somebody come on the football field, you know with all these stickers, they've been busting their ass. They've been doing some things, getting recognized by the coaches. These shoes give you that same type of feel, right? Again, he's talking about the black and gold, how just a few guys are getting those, and maybe there's a black and whites and white and blacks and just straight gold, right? You see the pictures back here of what you're working with. And maybe each tier represents kind of that dog mentality, right? Like level 1, level 2, you unlock the ability to wear whichever shoe that you want, depending on what you do on the football field, depending on how you accomplish these things. It's just a small little touch. Again, people are going to turn it however they want, but it to me is no different than the stickers. It really isn't, and I love the stickers. I think it's awesome. I think it's fantastic. Again, when you know what I'm talking about, especially Ohio State, the Michigans, the Florida States, right? They got the tomahawk chop on the side, dude. When you see a guy come out, that bad boy is just loaded up. You're like, you watch that guy. You know what I'm saying? You have to. And then when you see him play, like, man, he needs another sticker. You know what I'm saying? So I love it. I think it's fantastic. Great things all around for sure on that. Now let's talk a little bit about haters. Coach Prime was asked about how does he respond to the haters. This is an ongoing thing. It's never going to not be a thing. But we got some quotes out of it that I love. 2 quotes that we're going to pull up and talk about. And you always kind of get a preach moment from Coach Prime and something you can kind of hang on to. Look, what I love and what I've always been, what attracts me to Coach Prime is just he is someone that people love to hate. because of the loud personality, in your face. He doesn't have to necessarily do anything wrong. Just the way that he carries himself organically fires people up. But for me, I love it. I appreciate it. Take a listen to what he had to say.
I don't confuse a monument with a moment. That's a moment, dog.
Right.
That you're trying to get my attention.
Right.
You want it to be a monument. If I respond, that's what it becomes.
Right.
I'm not giving you that.
Mm-mm.
I'm not giving you that. Like, if I pay attention to that, I had to pay attention.
Right.
That cost me, dog.
Yeah.
That cost me time. That cost me energy. That cost me some foolishness. I had to pay attention to that. I ain't got time for that. I'm built a little different, man. Now, when you come at my kids, I may check you every now and then because you don't come at me, man.
Right.
I'm built. Don't come at my kids. They ain't got nothing to do with this. Come at them on their page, but don't come at my kids on my page when I'm putting them out there like a kite. I just want them to soar. And don't get mad at me because your daddy didn't do what he's supposed to do.
Okay. What the organ?
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. Bucky said that a long time ago. Bucky, didn't you say that a long time ago? Then you say, don't get mad at you because your dad didn't do what he's supposed to do.
Yes, sir.
I love that quote. That one fires me up. That is the ultimate, like, hey, just because you have your own insecurities, I mean, you got to take it out on me, right? Just because your dad didn't do you right, don't get frustrated with me because I'm out here doing my thing. And again, I love it. My second favorite, and I got to hear, I don't confuse a monument with the moment. That could speak to all of us. I feel like you can go back at a time and think, like, yeah, there's probably times I shouldn't have took the bait. I shouldn't have bid on that because that turned from a moment to a monument of like, yeah, that was a bad opportunity. And I'm sure he's had times where he's snapped on people, this year included, when his sons are being attacked. And again, people take that and run with it and make it a monument, make it a way bigger than what it has to be. Learning curve, learning experience. He was asked early on in the interview, like, hey, what have you learned in year 2 at Colorado? He said patience. Patience has been the biggest thing. He's like, I'm not a patient person. I always want things to happen right away, but I've had to learn. And he kind of talks about like putting kids in a microwave. Like, hey, he's like, Larry might take 30 seconds. Time might take a minute to cook in the microwave. So I've had to learn that. That's something I love hearing that too, that perspective from somebody who's further along in life. For myself, patience is a virtue. It is something that we battle with every day. And for someone that far along in their career, in their life, to still have to be like, yo, I got to check it. I got to have more patience in these categories. I don't know. I think it's fantastic. I love the vulnerability there from Coach Prime. Before we head into the drama, before we head into the Colorado State madness, it's fun. I enjoy it. That's why we're talking about it today, because I love where it's coming from. We'll get into it. I'm getting ahead of myself. But before we rip this bad boy up, got a little tweet here with 4 Colorado buffs. I don't know if that means 4 buffs are just going to be hitting the tar mat tomorrow or what's happening here, but absolute bombshell. This comes after a lot of noise surrounding Julian Lewis. A lot of noise. And again, even in this interview, they asked Coach Prime, hey, middle of the season, you taking a private jet to see a certain recruit? Kind of poking, he answered that question, which was kind of the same thing we've heard before. Like, look, it's hard for me to go do that because I'm limited in my resources. Coaches take advantage of that. Like, hey, he went and visited him, but not you. We've heard that before. But again, I'm not saying Julian Lewis is committed. We don't know. But I know the USC noise has kind of simmered down a little bit. USC is in a weird place with their recruiting. Julian Lewis wanted defense recruits from USC. USC lost all of their big time 3 recruits over the last month here. They're not doing what I'm assuming they're promised. Madness could lay out tomorrow, and it would be perfect timing right after the Big 12 Media Week. Would be absolutely huge. I hope the buffs mean for 4, because if 4 land tomorrow, son, that could be a big momentum swing for recruiting to really kind of get the ball rolling. Again, Julian Lewis, if he is one of those to fall, it's going to explode. And if it does happen, you better best believe, have the bell turned on, subscribe, all that jazz, because we're going to be all tuned in for that, because it's going to be mayhem. What time? We don't have that. We just got eyeballs and 4 buffs. So we'll see. Let's get into the Colorado State stuff, though. So, Coach, I don't know what he was asked. I tried to find the full interview to give you like the full kind of eggs and potatoes here. Nobody cares about what's going on with that conference. So it's not accessible like it is for other conferences. But I don't believe the first part of this, he was asked about Coach Prime or Colorado. I think this was his upbringing. He then, at the last question, obviously he was asked about Coach Prime, so he says a little bit something there. But I'm more focused on the first part of the question. Take a listen.
Colorado's quarterback is the all-time leading passer in Colorado history. He threw for 3,200 yards. So that means Braden's thrown for more yards than anybody in the Colorado program has ever thrown. I don't have any feelings for Deion Sanders. I really don't. I don't think about Deion.
All right. We got a little stat game here that I love. Let's just tune in really quick. So again, he brought up the fact he was reading an article that he saw that Shedeur, the Colorado quarterback. Look, I love it. It's all subtle jabs. And this is huge for Colorado State. It's you got a small program like that nobody talks about ever or ever will. They've got 1 week on the year. They're Super Bowl. They know that. They'd be crazy not to capitalize on that. So they're going to take the shot, right? That's their rival. That's their interstate rival. The Colorado quarterback threw for 3,300 yards. They're the highest of Colorado history. So Braden Fowler, their quarterback, threw for the most. Look, he didn't say anything incorrect. You know what he's trying to do. He's trying to take a jab of like Braden's better than anything that Colorado has ever had at quarterback. These stats here tell you 22 touchdowns for 16 interceptions for Braden with a 51-point QBR. Not that great compared to 3,200 yards from Shedeur. 27 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions with 63.1. And don't even get me started about the conferences that we're playing in, right? So, again, this is, look, I love it. I think it's fantastic. It's a shot, however you want to say it. It doesn't really matter to me. We're into the spring of things of college football. From what happened last year, do we expect anything less? Every game on this thing is going to be nuts. Coach Prime was even asked about North Dakota State. He goes, look, they're a badass football team. He's like, I talked to Rick. I'm like, why are we got to play them up for game one? Give us a layup, because he understands that North Dakota State is no joke, right? Every game on this schedule is going to be mayhem. Even Shedeur said, look, everyone has a circle. We're the Super Bowl, which offended some people. But here's the thing. There's 2 parts to this. The Colorado States, the North Dakota States, they're circling Colorado because they know how many eyeballs are going to be watching. So, it's going to be the Super Bowl. Teams like Nebraska, things like that, the disrespect that Colorado's getting, they don't want to be the team that loses to Colorado, right? Like, that's the other side of it. So that game is circled because of the importance of, like, look, we don't want to be those guys that get walloped by Colorado. That's the other mentality of it. So although they felt like, oh, Shedeur's walking around like, oh, we're the best thing since sliced bread. Like, no, everyone has their own reasons of why that game is circled. But every time they're going to step on the football field, for the first 4 or 5 weeks anyways, all eyeballs are going to be on that. And a lot of these games are already primetime, which we've talked about on the show before. So everyone's going to be watching. Anywho, good stuff. We'll see you tomorrow, it seems like, because we're going to have a big-time recruiting day. So subscribe, turn the bell on. Hope you guys enjoyed today's content. If you did, of course, let me know down in the comment section. I'm sure you'll roast something. The haters will be in the comment section. They always are. They live there rent-free. We don't charge. We like to invite them in, make sure they're comfortable. We get them snacks, drinks, all that good stuff. That way they continue to come back, say hey, tell us they love us. We appreciate it, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace and love, baby.